So you're a seasoned veteran at your organization, and you know the devices in your infrastructure like the back of your hand. The problem is your scanning tools don't. Now you've probably heard this a few times already, but I've got to say it anyway. Out of the box, proVM does not tamper with any of your result data. It's simply data in, data out. So any platform data in your vulnerability matrix, or VM, is dependent upon the fingerprinting of your scanners, which can make your platform data really messy. I mean, you've got the summary totals here, messy platform data under finding details in the platform column. This stuff can get messy. And even worse, under your unique findings. And when I mean messy, I mean really messy. How great is that? Again, this data is straight from your scanner, so it's based upon fingerprinting, which isn't always a perfect science. Now, if you need an explanation of the VM itself or what the unique findings are, you can see the video about explaining the VM. The good news is that you can tamper with this data if you want to with proVM Auditor and override the fingerprinting done by your scanners with the platforms that you know so well. And let me show you how. Then jump out of our VM, and from anywhere within the wizard you can reach the settings menu, and we're going to go to device to OS mapping. From here there are three ways in which to display the correct system text. You can manually add it in for any devices within your infrastructure. The top table here populates all devices that have ever been identified by your scanners, and you can edit those here. Or you can import a correct list of correct platforms. So anytime an OS override has been added, it's going to show up in the mappings table here, which shows all existing device to OS mapping stored in your database, and you'll see that it'll populate as we add stuff in. So let's go ahead and add a manual one. We'll say hostname me, IP address 192.168.2.6, and we'll say the correct text is my brain. We'll go ahead and add that bad boy in there. You can see the list is populating, and then we're going to go ahead and correct the ones that have been identified by our imported scanner result files. Now this thinks this platform is let's see, Service Pack 2 and Service Pack 3 as well. Awesome. But we know this is just XP. So we'll just say Windows XP. And we'll say this one's Windows 7. And this is Server 2008. And another Windows XP box. And another, let's say Windows 7. Awesome. All added in. Now to start working with the list, you can simply export the list, and it's going to export all of your mappings that are stored in your database. And we'll go ahead and do that just to show you. Now, if you haven't done any OS mappings yet, this will be blank, and you could use this for formatting. But as you can see, it's got all the mappings stored in your database. And note that any imported list will append and override anything already in the database. So if you add stuff here, it's going to add it to your database when you import it, and if you change stuff, it's going to override what's already in the database. Let's get back in proVM. You can also edit a mapping in the database in case you made a mistake. You just click on the override text field here and type in whatever you wanted to type and hit enter, and it would change, make that change. And you can also delete a mapping for any reason. Just simply click on the row header and hit delete on your keyboard, and yes, we want to delete that ridiculous mapping. And there you go. So let's create another VM. But before we do, we must apply our changes. Otherwise, they're not going to be reflected in the VM itself. So you manage your data here in the settings menu, but you apply any things that you managed here in your session summary screen where you create your vulnerability matrix. So we're going to go ahead and select this override OS platform fingerprinting, so that stuff will be overridden, and we'll create a new VM. Go ahead and override the existing one. And now that we can see our system text on our summary screen, on our finding details tab, and on our unique details tab, are all displaying the correct system text. All is right with the world again. So my contact info is in the about section of this YouTube video, or you can always grab us at our contact us link on our website. Adios.